Welcome everybody to the HolloTalk Podcast. This is Jetpack Nick, and I'm here with a very, very, very special guest today, Monica McNutt. Say what's up to the people.
Hey y'all, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. It's been a long time coming. You know, I had to get you on here because I be watching. You know, of course, I watch ESPN, and I seen you on there, and I was like, yo, she's really fucking dope. Like, she's so amazing. Like, your personality just shine through on television, and I really love the way that you do your sports takes, along with combining that personality. Some people got great sports takes but don't have personality. You do both very well. So, you know, you remind me of me a little bit, you know?
Wow, high praise. I remind you of you. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. It's been an interesting ride, but it's been fun.
Okay. So speaking of you being a busy woman, how has it been getting more of those opportunities to be heavily featured on television? And what has led up to you getting more of those opportunities?
Well, let me ask you this, Nick. How old do you think I am?
If I had to guess, I would say late 20s, early 30s.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm 31. Okay. And so it's funny when people there's no doubt about it that 2020 into 2021 has been a rise for me career-wise. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, this isn't my first rodeo.
No, right.
It's like, I think sometimes people think I'm a little bit younger than I am, and you don't get to a platform, usually, there may be some exceptions to the rule, but you don't get to a platform like ESPN and some of the shows I'm doing first time out of the gate. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So it's been really cool to kind of engage with folks. I'm okay if we disagree, as long as we can keep it respectful, like, whatever. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to mine, and I'll tell you why. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It has been a very demanding schedule. Like, I'm a person who typically pre-COVID, was in the gym pretty consistently.
Right.
So not only did COVID throw that off and I was at home getting creative, but then when my schedule is like the 7 a.m. Sports Center and also a 9 o'clock game, and then there's this, that, and the other in the middle of the day, it's been interesting kind of juggling my personal life and my professional life. But I'm not complaining at all. 3 years ago, I would have given my left leg for all the opportunities that I have right now.
No, yeah, and like I told you, even off the record, like I'm proud to see that you getting these opportunities because, again, your talent is very much shining through. You know, especially me being a avid watcher of sports shows, and every it seems like every show I watch, there's Monica McNutt on there with another opinion, another statement, things like that. So, I'm happy that you are getting those opportunities to showcase what you do, what you're about, and who you are.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I think when I look at my journey, I'm thankful that it didn't happen too soon, because this kind of stuff can go to your head, man. Like, it really can. But I am very proud to be 10 toes down. I mean, my circle is incredible, and I just have tremendous perspective on all of this.
Right.
By no means do I plan to walk away tomorrow or anytime soon, for that matter. But at the same time, I know that life has a way of dictating where you need to be. And I'm living my dream. But, could there be reasons personally down the road that will cause me to pivot and go in another direction? Sure. I mean, I'm a person that believes that we're not on this earth solely to serve ourselves, right? Who are you taking
right.
and who are you helping get opportunities? So it's been a lot of fun. I'm excited to see where it goes. But I'm also good for completely checking out and turning off all the TVs, radio, not getting on the internet, like, just because I need some me time with humans that I know and love and that know me before I hit the scene at ESPN.
Yeah, but do you even get time to do that, though? Like I said, you're on every show, so I don't know how much downtime you get.
I think you make time. That's something that's very important to me. I'm one who buys into the idea of balance and wellness as best as one can achieve that. And
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I definitely turn off the TV and have days where I don't get on social on purpose, because I just want to be present in all the things that I have to give God thanks for, and just the people that are in my life. Sometimes you do have to step off the grind, and that helps you be better, because it's just like a muscle, right? Like,
yeah.
if you run your muscle ragged, you're likely to find yourself injured.
Yeah,
but if
absolutely.
you give your body and your muscles a chance to recover, you can be better. And so it is for me when I look at this career grind.
Okay. Well, listen, I don't want you to not be on TV. Like,
I got what you're saying. Be here with it. I got you.
Yeah, I don't want you to not be on TV. It's always a pleasure to see you on there, just giving your hot takes and everything. So,
on occasion, y'all just gonna have to miss me while I'm gone, because I am stepping away for this good quality vacation right around. I haven't scheduled it yet, but and actually it's funny because I'm getting this week, Thursday, if assuming knock on all the wood.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna work for you as well.
Right. The Olympics proceed, I probably won't be on the ESPN airways for about 2 weeks, just because even though I'm going to be stateside covering, we're going to be on Tokyo time.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
that's just a little tricky. Got to flip your clock upside down. But I'm just so thankful for all of the opportunities.
No, that's a major opportunity, actually, being able to cover the Olympics. Can you talk about how you got that opportunity?
Networking, honestly. Swing Cash is a friend. She's
Swing Cash.
Sat in this role before. This year didn't work out for her. She submitted my name. They like my work, and here we are. And of course, continuing to put one foot in front of another. Molly Solomon, who's one of the vice presidents at NBC Sports. I met her years ago at a networking event and have just kind of stayed in touch with her. Elise Noonan in the talent department. Just kind of staying in touch with people, and then you get your one big yes, and here we are.
Right. So even though that you are, on a base, basically you're basically on a rocket ship at this point, just going up, so even though that's the case, do you feel like doing those networking, or doing networking is still important, even though you're shooting up the ladder?
100%. I mean, I just said to you, for me, this is not the end all be all.
For sure.
I'm having a blast. Let's make that very clear. But it is not the end all be all. And so there are other things in life that I hope to be able to do. There are ways in which I hope to be able to impact. And I think networking is a paramount piece to all of that. There's so much learning to be done. My mom always says doctors and lawyers, they say they have a law practice or a medical practice, but we're all practicing something. And Absolutely. So I'm a practicing journalist. I'm a practicing friend. I'm a practicing sister, girlfriend, the whole bit. And so there's so much to learn that I don't think you can ever not network. There's just so much to learn.
All right. Well, as you can see, I wouldn't have did this if I wasn't networking. So I guess at least for somebody like me, that's something that I've always put a lot of energy into. And I'm asking you because, like I said, you're reaching pinnacles that, some people don't ever get a chance to reach. And I know beyond what you've already achieved, you have a lot more that you want to achieve. So I just was curious to know how important networking was for you, because I know how important it is for me to get where I'm trying to go.
I don't think there's a job that I have gotten that precluded networking. My first industry job was a connection between one of my grad school professors and the news director. Second industry job, another professor and the news director. Next job, a dude that I met in the old job, and the timing had been just right. Through the hustle, freelancing, all of that is about networking. Yeah, I literally don't think, Nick, that there's an opportunity that I've ever gotten straight off of job application.
Oh, usually that's how it goes. Like, at least that's what they've been telling me my whole life. It's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Listen, that's why I said you can't never stop networking. But I think, and it's funny because when I talk to young folks now, I didn't understand this when I got started. There's the networking up. Oh, so-and-so is the producer. So-and-so is the news director. They have these positions where they have the power to hire. But sometimes it's the networking across that can be so powerful. Right. When I look to my left and right at some of my peers, we're all sort of kind of catching at the same time. And people on the ground know what positions are being open, you know what I mean, before you have the opportunity sometimes to see a job post. And so networking across and really believing in and supporting your peers is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like I said, I can see that, especially from, just some of the things that I've been doing as far as, in the networking arena and listening to some of the things that you're telling me currently. But I want to go back to something that you had said, about what you already achieved and some of the things that you want to continue to achieve. What are some of those things that you want to continue to achieve?
Oh, man. Continue.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to call NBA action. It's funny, people have met me on the studio show piece, but my heart is always in games. Like, that's how I started in the industry, calling game action. And so I'd like to get back to games and get back in the field in some capacity. But, that's such a loaded question, Nick. Like, I love everything that I'm doing right now. I hope to continue to do those things and continue to get better at them. And get back into live game action. Like, that's a big thing for me. I think if I have the opportunity to cover any of the big three, major championship type events, I wouldn't turn any of those down. I mean, every experience counts towards something.
Right. Yeah, I mean, listen, I know it was a loaded question, but we can unpack it if you would like. People
No,
want to know. People want to know
listen,
about you and what your thought process is when it comes to these kind of things.
listen, man. Uh, my thought process is stay ready so you don't have to get ready, I guess.
I get it. I feel you.
ESPN is such a large company, and not just ESPN, because
Right.
I work for a bunch of companies.
Right.
Companies have various needs, and I think you have to trust the people around you to be honest with you about how well you fit those needs.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see myself as like, I mean, I can host and I'd be open to hosting, but I also like am very proud to stand in the space and share my opinion.
Right.
So I would be more of an opinionated host. You know what I mean? So I think as I'm navigating this space, finding what are the best fits, whether it's the colleagues that I work with or the roles that I take, is part of the journey. So I've really enjoyed Around the Horn. Occasional appearances at First Take. First Take is a really long show, though. Y'all
Yeah, it
appreciate
is.
Stephen A. and Max for the energy that they bring consistently. It's a really long show. I've had a blast on radio. I'm learning along the way, and so I don't know that I have an answer of a single thing right now, Nick. I will say, I just don't want to be boxed in moving forward.
No, yeah, and I was actually just about to say that. I was about to say, somebody of your talent, should not box yourself in. Like I do see that you can do a whole lot of different things. Like you said, if you wanted to, get on the sideline and do sideline reporting or continue to do what you're doing currently, I think that you can be the best at what you do, regardless of what the discipline is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of what you put time into or whatever opportunity you decide to take.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. I received that.
No, listen, I got to keep it 100% real with you. That's why I reached out to you to have you come on the podcast, because you're somebody that I thought was very, very interesting, just based off of me seeing you on television and not ever speaking a word to you until I did. And then here we are right now, and then it's all that I expected it to be.
I'm glad I can live up to those expectations. I mean, what you see is what you get. Like that's legit for me.
No, as it should be. I mean, people like authenticity, or at least that's what most people say they like. Some people like it, some people don't. But I think it's best to just be your authentic self.
Yeah, and I am very proud that I get to show up as me in this journey. I can remember getting started in sports media, and it wasn't necessarily embraced. My friends who used to be the technical directors and behind the scenes used to get so frustrated because I would move so much on set, and they're like, "You're gonna move out of your shot." And I had different feedback on my hair or on my lipstick or earring choice. Like, it has been such a journey. I think when I stepped into this space, I was determined to do it my way. Because again, this job is not the end all be all. I love my short hair because it's easiest for my life and fitness and the whole bit.
Right.
I feel best in colors and lipstick and earrings. And so I want to be able to show up and be confident in whatever it is I'm doing. And so I'm just glad that the space is becoming far less whitewashed and embracing all of our authenticity because it makes it better.
Absolutely. And, I wanted to ask you that too, being that you are a Black woman and, a male dominated arena, and like you said, white. Do you feel that it was a lot of challenges for you kind of coming into it and even maintaining your position or progressing from where you are now?
Yeah, it had its challenges. It's a subjective industry, Nick. Like, if you don't have the look, they can't say that to you in your face, but you might question why you didn't get an opportunity, and you look and compare credentials to someone who did get the opportunity, and it doesn't make sense. But I have literally had to relinquish, what I thought I should have had and really trust God. Like, my faith has been a huge part of this journey. All I know that I can do is control what I can control. And that is to be diligent, to show up and be prepared, to network my butt off, those kind of things. And they have reaped the benefits. And I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, especially the faith thing too, having a lot of faith in yourself and everything that you do and how it propels you to greater heights. I think a lot of people don't really put a lot of emphasis into that, which is why I wanted to ask you, how much do you feel like that contributed to not only you staying the course of what it is that you wanted to do and what you want to achieve in your field of work, but also how does it just apply to your everyday life?
The faith piece?
Yes.
That was huge. And so part of my arc, I graduated college in 2011, grad school in 2013, started working, local news, plugging my way through. 2015, I took a job with an upstart news or sports network in Florida. after being laid off from my job in DC when new management came in, right? So that job in Florida is going well. Just shy of 2 years, they shut the shop down. So I was laid off twice in the span of 3 years. I came back to DC a little bit naive, but also confident because I bounced back from the first layoff so quickly.
Right.
It didn't happen that way, Nick. Like, it didn't happen that way. It was almost 18 months before I could catch again in the industry. And what I am so appreciative about in that time is that it gave me an opportunity to really sit with myself, sit with my faith, sit with my family and friends, and realize that what I do is not who I am.
Right.
And so I'm super proud of how I show up in media, and I love my job. I'm having so much fun. But at the same time, if tomorrow it was no longer a thing, I've been there before.
Right.
And I was able to really appreciate how well my heart is taken care of, how full my life is with people that love and support me, and just how awesome I am, whether or not I'm doing this or not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm worthy of love. I give love, and I can have a full life with or without this thing. Now, again, very happy. No intentions of walking away.
Right, for sure.
But that perspective is something that I carry with me because, like I said, this stuff can go to folks' heads, and not just media, but anytime you start to achieve success is something you've poured your heart and soul into. So I'm very, very thankful for that perspective. And as painful as I think as that season of my life was, when I think about moments, I wouldn't change a thing. I would not change a single thing. It humbled me. It gave me so much tremendous gratitude and incredible perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, and you being able to stand 10 toes down through those trials and tribulations, would you attribute that to just something that you did specifically, or like the team that you had around you to keep you on track? Like, what would you attribute that to?
I think it's both. I mean, in addition to my career falling apart, at least it felt like at that moment, there was a lot going on with my family at that time.
Gotcha.
And so to be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with them as we faced, gosh, I think probably the most challenging time I can remember, at least as an adult, alongside my parents. I was actually very grateful to be home when I was home.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I spent a lot of time sitting with myself and journaling. You know what I'm saying? Talking to God, talking to friends. I'm really kind of getting clear about purpose and how you can achieve a purpose. There's more than one way to achieve a purpose, I should say.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I genuinely was going to go teach high school English and coach girls basketball and do the media thing on the side. Like,
really?
Because the bills don't stop. The bills don't care about you journaling and getting quiet and understanding purpose. Like, no. So I was going to go do this thing on the side. There's so many. And I think people think that journalists just walk out and land full-time jobs. Some of us do, but more times than not, many of us have jobs and we're doing this thing on the side until you can do it in a way that's sustainable. And so I was staring that path right in the face. And then some things started to break my way. And it was the tremendous support of other Black women in the space. Jamel Hill, Maria Taylor, LaChina Roberts,
all of them.
Angel, like all of those things. So I'm really blessed. I'm really grateful. I think my mandate as I move through this space is to be what another woman in particular needs, but just what another young person in the industry needs, particularly folks that represent diversity.
Okay. So this is going to lead into my next official question, right?
Okay, I hope you wrap these questions up though, but go ahead.
Oh, come on, we got time, right? We got time.
Go ahead.
We got time. So women's athletics have been at the forefront of sports for a majority of the year, right? So you yourself are blazing a path in your own right, as far as, what you do in the media field. And I wanted to know, what does it mean to you to see women be as prominent as they currently are? And what does it mean to you to be as prominent as you currently are?
Man. So that's a great question, and particularly when you look at the rise of the WNBA this year. The last time I checked, I think viewership was up like 44% when the games were on ABC. And I've been super fortunate to be one of the hosts when games on ABC. It's about time. I started my podcast, Nick, and one of the things I said about it is it covers all of ball, like all of basketball, because buckets are buckets. You know what I mean? So as a woman that played basketball with the dudes out in my neighborhood growing up, it was just women's basketball and men's basketball. There was no lesser, greater. I think you're taught that by society. And I can remember getting to Georgetown and thinking over the 4 years that I was there, I had more NCAA tournament success than my male counterparts. Right. But here they were, this legacy organization, and they still had nicer things than we had. Now, right now, all the Georgetown facilities are beautiful in the John Thompson Jr. Center and everybody's equal. But I think we have to be diligent in how we raise our kids, be diligent in how we truly support one another. Different is not better or lesser than. It's just different. And I think people want to toss around sports are a microcosm of society as if that is some rosy thing all the time. But we need to be honest when we say that. In many ways, sports represent the disparities that we see between men and women in real life, across society. You know, sports probably, particularly women's sports in the WNBA, who champions pride and leaning in and supporting its LGBTQ community, in many ways, outside of that piece of women's sports represents society. And there are things that we need to address in society as we do in sports so that we all have equity and equitable opportunities. So I'm super proud of the women across sports leagues, not just the WNBA, using their voices, using their platforms. But even within that, Nick, it's a whole nother conversation about women supporting all women. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Despite background, beliefs, identities, the whole bit. So when people say that they support and want to see women's sports grow, you got to mean it. And that means you show up and check out a game. That means you buy gear. That means you engage in the conversation on social media. That means you watch. The same way I know you've been in a bar, Nick, and the game has been on, not that anybody's watching it, let the game be on. If it's a WNBA game, like, let it be on. And if a patron comes in and requests that, turn the channel. You know what I mean? They're just small things that we need to continue to keep doing so that we can make this progress.
Okay. And what about you specifically, being, like I said, as prominent as you are currently in your field, being a Black woman in sports media? Like, how does that make you feel currently that you're, like I said, on a rocket ship, basically?
I'm very proud of that. It's funny when people say, how do you feel as a Black woman in sports media? I don't know how to feel as anybody else. I've only been me. So here I am. And yes, when I walk into a room, can I take a survey of how many folks look like me, as in Black women? Mm-hmm. How many folks look like me as Black people? How many folks look like me as women? I'm taking a note of all of those things. But that's not new.
Right.
Grew up in Prince George's County.
Okay, PG. Okay.
Folks, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm accustomed to being around Black folks. I also went to a predominantly white high school. I went to Georgetown and on to Maryland. I'm comfortable being around white folks. So yes, I take survey of all of those things, but I still have to show up because I believe you take yourself with you wherever you go. Right. And what I do not want people to say, whether they like me or not, because I'm totally good and I understand that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. What you can't say is that I wasn't prepared or that I didn't come to work hard or that I was difficult to work with for the most part. Now, some people are just going to be oil and water, but I take myself with me wherever I go. And that is to be prepared, to be respectful, and to have fun. So I love it. Again, for me, it's not just about me. It's about setting examples for young girls coming behind me. And I love in particular when girls hit me up and ask me about my hair. Yeah, baby, I'm here. And this is my hair and I have not changed it.
Yeah, I actually love your hair. We kind of look alike right now. I think you got me beat though. You definitely looking better than me right now.
Yeah.
No, but I think that even something like that, like is minute as some people might see the hair thing being. It's about representation, and you know, that being one of the things that is very, very important for people who look like us, or a Black woman or a Black young girl looking at you on television every day and seeing that, like, oh, she has natural hair out, oh, you know, things like that. I think that that's extremely, extremely, extremely important to see, and for that to be, represented in the spaces that we're in.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. If you could see her, you could be her. Representation matters. All of those things. All of that applies. I mean, I know for me, Robin Roberts was the first woman that I saw on TV. Like, oh, bet. Like, I could do that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great people that have done what you do. There's a lot of great people that do what I do, that look like us. And, you know, the fact that we can look at those people and say, oh, they did it, I can do it too. Extremely important to see that, so we can hopefully emulate that.
100%, Nick. Well said.
Listen, I'm trying. This is my ESPN audition tape.
There you go.
No, I'm playing. So I got one more question for you. If you gotta go, that's only if you gotta go.
Come on now, let's make it quick.
All right. So, what was the transition for you playing at a high level D1 college to going into a career in sports media?
I went to grad school. I took a year off. And was a kindergarten aide in the DC public charter school, which I swear I always say was the most meaningful career detour I could have made, because I was working with these babies and I realized that so many parents, particularly from underprivileged communities, rely on the school system or the teachers to raise their children. And so it gave me a tremendous level of compassion and appreciation for teachers, but also for where these kids come from, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And then I went to grad school because I felt like I wanted to be more than a women's basketball analyst. And so I needed to go get the tools so that I could do that. And then I graduated grad school and started plugging away.
Okay. So it sounds like you had a successful basketball career, and now, as we can see, successful sports media career.
Yeah, the sports media part, I remember saying it was a little bit frustrating because basketball had always been 1+1. You work in the gym, game comes, you knock down a shot.
Right.
Or maybe I'm skipping a step. You got to show that you belong on the court in the game, in practice, but then you get an opportunity, right? It was very formulaic. I didn't find media to be formulaic. I thought I was good coming out, and I couldn't understand why it took me so long to get opportunities. And so I was left to deduce that, these people didn't particularly care for my look yet. And I wasn't changing that. So I had to let the long route take its course. But I'm thankful that I'm still here. I'm glad I showed that perseverance and that diligence, because, nothing worth having in life comes easy. And I believe that. Monty Williams says everything you want is on the other side of hard. And that is very legit.
It's very, very true. All right. So a couple more things before I let you go, right? So I got a couple quick questions, this or that kind of series.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, I don't know what your answer is going to be, but that's why we ask the questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Question 1, Kobe or Jordan?
Oh, man, that's tough.
You can say both if you want.
Both. There you go.
Okay. Playing basketball or being a sports analyst?
Playing. Easy.
Easy? Why?
There's nothing quite like having your teammates in that capacity and competing and like being able to be physical and the whole bit. Like if whoever's sitting across from me on whatever show pisses me off, I can't like chuck them an extra elbow the way I could on the court.
You was out there playing like Dennis Rodman.
Let's get it. I was not shy of physicality. Let's just put it that way. And I wasn't the most physical, but I got my little extra checks in where I could.
Oh, of course, I get it. Definitely
Right, come on,
understand.
I got another pod. Let's go.
All right. Last one. Crabs or lobsters? That's a Maryland.
Crabs, easy. I'm
crabs,
a Maryland
easy.
girl. Like crabs all day in the backyard with the fam. Like get you a beverage, get you some Old Bay, mayonnaise, mustard. Sometimes I might add a little vinegar to my mix, some Old Bay seasoning, mix it up. Like that's your dip for your crabs. Let's get it.
All right, last thing. Can you give the people 3 gems to take away from this conversation?
Take yourself with you wherever you go. Everything you want is on the other side of hard. Have a healthy relationship with no.
I like that one. I like that one a lot. All right, so let everybody know where they can find you on social media and everything.
All the socials are McNutt Monica. I think Instagram there's a underscore at the end. Twitter is just McNutt Monica. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. You know what I'm saying? That's not necessarily real life. I like to do real life things.
Nah, I feel you. All right, well, with that being said, this has been another episode of HolloTalk Podcast. I want to thank you, Ms. McNutt, for coming on and blessing me with this wonderful conversation. Hopefully we could do it again with some more time, because we could go. Like, you got to ask me some questions next time. Like,
that's how podcasts go, right? You could just go.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I and like I said, you one of the people who I felt like I could, have a long conversation with. Generally, the episodes go for an hour plus, but I know you said that you had, time constraints. So, I tried to get the good questions in as quickly as I could.
You did an excellent job, Nick. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to it dropping. I'll drop a little retweet or share.
All right. Thank you. And enjoy the rest of your day and good luck on the next pod.
Thank you.
All right.